welcome to Cheap Revolution. I'm Skip Shuda, and we're talking to Mark Benito of WordPress Academy. Mark is going to put together an offer at cheaprevolution.com/WordPress for our audience. And we're going to talk about how you can use WordPress as an inexpensive but high-quality way to put together websites for entrepreneurs and small businesses. I'm going to ask you about WordPress in a bit and what it takes to actually get involved with this in a moment, Mark. And I know you're going to tell us about a special offer for the Cheap Revolution audience. But first, why don't we start and just tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to start WordPress Academy.
Well, very briefly, Skip. My background is in electrical engineering and computer programming. I was coding COBOL and Fortran. When people still used to do that. And I sort of became an internet entrepreneur 7 years ago. I started a website development company from my basement, sort of. Just hired a bunch of offshore designers, and we were good to go. And I ran this company for about 3 years, quite successfully. We made about 150 sites for small businesses. We sort of specialized in very affordable website design. And on these, these were the days when, it would cost, several $1,000s typically to design a website using the old technology. So we took that as far as we could. Finally, I let that go, but I started playing with WordPress, maybe about 3 years ago. Because WordPress has really only come into its own, into its really full power in the last 2 years. It's become a mega platform. And I just totally fell in love with the platform, and I started teaching, initially to my friends, and now we have a pretty significant business, that we're running here.
Yeah, terrific. Mm-hmm. Well, I had a company that was building websites for financial institutions, and back in the 90s, sometimes these would cost upwards of several $100,000, even crossing into millions of dollars to develop. And, of course, today's entrepreneurs and small businesses don't have anywhere near that kind of capital. But, when an entrepreneur is looking at putting together a website, they have a number of options available to them. And even today, I still hear quotes for small business websites of $10,000, $20,000 to put one together. And that's a lot of times there's custom designers and information architects and usability experts. And, there are a lot of pieces to the puzzle. So you can go sort of that craftsman approach to building a website. Or I also run across entrepreneurs or small businesses that are using these site builders that come for free with your GoDaddy account or your one-in-one hosting account. So, why would we want to use WordPress over some of these other options? I mean, some of these options are really quite cheap.
Yeah, you bring up a lot of questions, Skip, about, what's the optimal way for small business to market themselves online. So hopefully we'll have time to address that a little bit later. But let me cover WordPress. WordPress is a content management system. So what that does is it lets you create a website and manage both the content and the presentation of the site through a web interface. And it compares to sort of on the low end content management systems like, GoDaddy, Website Tonight, or One-in-One. Most hosting companies have a website builder. It's very cheap, and it's also fairly primitive. Then you have WordPress, which is, it's sort of on the mid-range between a high-end CMS, and sort of the higher-end CMSs would be like Joomla or Drupal or other open source and very powerful CMSs. And then you have the whole enterprise grade CMSs. So WordPress is sort of an ideal mix of user-friendliness, ease of use, and power. And it being open source, of course, it's free for the cost of hosting, and maybe for the cost of commercial themes or plugins that are very cheap. We're talking $100. I mean, I run my business, and I'm $10,000 or $15,000 a month business on about it's $100 membership plugin software. Seriously.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So, but do I need a technical background? I mean, you have a technical background. I have a technical background. Do I have to be a coder, a developer to use WordPress? Because a lot of entrepreneurs are getting started. They're experts in their business, but they may not be technologists.
Right. Well, I mean, the WordPress platform really has three compelling advantages. First of all, it's quite easy to use. Actually, if you go to to my site, cheaprevolution.com/WordPress, I think will get you there. I actually do have a 2-hour video tutorial that will actually get you started, and you can actually, if you're reasonably technically minded, you can actually have a pretty attractive site up in a couple of hours, or maybe even less if you're good. So it's easy to use. At the same time, it's very powerful. It's infinitely extensible. It has this huge adoption. So there's thousands of commercial themes and plugins that are available. And it ties in really well to social media. It ties in really well to, search engine optimization. You can basically extend it in 1,000 ways. And it's not complicated. And the beauty of it is you can make a kick-ass website, for yourself. It's really quite amazing. It's very impressive what non-experienced people can do, with a nice commercial theme and a little bit of knowledge.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, because the themes, it strikes me that one of the real advantages of WordPress is it's built around this idea of themes. And there are some themes that you can get, I guess, really there are some themes that are for free that you can get with the WordPress base installation. But there are also commercial themes that are available very inexpensively, but they're professionally designed. They look great. So let's talk about that. Where might people go to take a look at some of those themes, see what's available?
Well, at WP Academy, I'm a huge advocate of commercial themes for the simple reason that you can make a very attractive site very easily for under $100. Now, there's lots of free themes also that are quite good, but you tend to lose some of the power and flexibility in the free themes. In other words, you may not be able to adapt your site to your needs in the same way that you can with a commercial theme. So, the whole topic of theme selection and customization, it's a big topic. I spend full, in the course that we teach here, it's called WordPress for Business. We spend 2 full sessions. It's an 8-session course, 2 full sessions on theme selection and customization. Now, if you're looking for a quick start in themes, just quick tips here. First of all, there's a free theme called the Weaver 2. That's quite attractive and very powerful. So just to get started, that's what we recommend. And there's 2 very powerful and attractive theme families that you might want to check out. One is called StudioPress, studiopress.com. And the other is called WooThemes, woothemes.com. And, probably 80% of my students end up choosing a theme from one of these 2 theme families, or they just find a free theme and they fall in love with it. Yeah.
Okay. And just to clarify for people, when we talk about themes, we're talking about color scheme, the visual layout, styles, everything. The aesthetics of the site as well.
A theme gives a look and feel of your site, which in WordPress and all CMSs is separate from the content. So one of the beauties of WordPress is that you can put up your content. In other words, compose your pages and images and hyperlinks and page navigation and so forth on one theme, and then you change your mind. You can instantly apply another theme, and your site is going to have a completely different look and feel.
Okay. And as far as adding content to my site, do I have to go out and hire a webmaster or somebody to update my site, or is this going to be something that I'm going to be able to do on my own?
Yes. Well, you can use WordPress is a built-in visual editor. That's a very nice web-based editor, and there's also a very cool program called Windows Live Writer that actually lets you compose your pages and posts online, and paste in images, and works like very similar to Microsoft Word.
Okay, so you can really do sort of what you see is what you get.
Totally, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, what if I want to do something extra with my site? I want to add, a photo library or a calendar or an event and that kind of thing. Do all the themes come with that, or do I have to do something else? Can you talk to me about sort of plugins and how they fit into the picture?
Yeah, so a plugin is sort of like an app for WordPress. In other words, it will add functionality that's not included in the default WordPress open installation. All right. Basically, there's thousands of free plugins, and there's thousands of commercial plugins. The commercial plugins aren't expensive, but there's a number of things that you can do for free, like just posting a video or adding a newsletter sign up to your site. You can do for free. There's a free newsletter provider called MailChimp that's extremely popular right now. So you don't need a plugin for simple stuff like that, but you would need a plugin, for example, like an event calendar. You want to post events on your site and have a list of upcoming events, or a membership site plugin is a system that actually lets you collect membership dues and gives people access to protected content. That's the kind of thing you would use a plugin for.
Okay, great. So membership dues, that's actually going to support certain business models as well, subscribers, subscription-based business models.
Exactly.
What if I'm building an e-commerce site, though? Is WordPress going to work for me there?
Yes. Well, once again, there's a number of ways of activating WordPress to do e-commerce, and we spend a whole hour on this in the WordPress for Business course. But you can just put a simple PayPal button. That doesn't take anything. That's very simple. You could put an e-commerce store plugin, which is good for small stores, maybe up to a couple dozen, maximum 100 products. If you have a big store, WordPress is not the recommended platform. You should use probably hosted e-commerce provider like Zuvi or eBay stores or similar. So as of now,
some people talking about Magento for e-commerce, but that's another conversation, right?
Magento is very good, but it's a serious, it's a heavyweight program. Yeah,
heavyweight, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So so this is great. So it sounds like it's inexpensive. It's easy to use. There are a wide range of plugins that are available to me to customize my site, to support my business model. What about where am I going to host this thing? Do I have to go with a hosting provider? Do you recommend a one-stop shop, or do I choose a hosting provider where I can really manage the platform directly?
Okay, so that's a very easy question to answer, Skip. So, first of all, people need to understand the distinction between WordPress.com, which is a hosting platform for WordPress sites, primarily WordPress blogs. But WordPress.com does not support commercial themes or plugins, and for that reason, it's pretty well disqualified for small business sites, because it's going to limit your ability to extend your site and also to beautify it. All right. So you are going to need what's called self-hosted WordPress, also known as WordPress.org. WordPress.org is not a hosting company. Right? WordPress.org is the repository of all the open source WordPress code and the themes and the plugins that people have contributed. WordPress.org and self-hosted WordPress is synonymous. So you are going to need a hosting provider. Now, we recommend a cPanel-based hosting provider, and there's two very popular ones that are Bluehost and HostGator. Bluehost and HostGator.
Just to explain for people briefly what cPanel implies then.
cPanel, it's a hosting management system, hosting management interface that is much, much easier to use and navigate than many comparable systems. Particularly, do not use GoDaddy hosting, please, for WordPress. But you use a cPanel host, of which the popular ones are HostGator and Bluehost. Now, WP Academy also provides hosting services that are price competitive to the others.
What's the issue with GoDaddy that you run into?
They provide very poor WordPress support, and their sites are slow. Okay. And basically it's important not to choose a hosting company based on price alone, because they also host your email. So if your website goes down, your email is also going to go down, sometimes for days or days at a time. So just be careful.
Well, besides the reliability, we're also seeing now the search engines like Google are starting to actually rank sites and rank the results based on how quickly they're returned. So
exactly.
It's in their best interest to have sites that serve up sites that are responsive.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So this is great. You've sort of given us a really quick overview, the ABCs of WordPress and some of the pieces of the puzzle. What is it that you do with people that join WordPress Academy? What are some of the options that you have available to folks there? How do you help?
Well, first of all, we do have probably the most comprehensive free training on the web, cheaprevolution.com/WordPress. It was called the WordPress Learning Management System, and we've actually made one. I believe this is the world's first true WordPress help system. Help system is it's got a table of contents and expanding, collapsing table of contents and index and search. It's a format that people are familiar with. So first of all, there's the free training at WP Academy that's highly recommended for anyone who's new to WordPress and content management systems in general. Now, in addition to that, we do have a course. It's an 8-week course called the WordPress for Business. That's a comprehensive. It's a comprehensive course in creating an attractive site, in monetizing a WordPress site with a shopping cart or membership system, and in marketing your site with email marketing and search engine optimization and video production. So we cover really a broad range, not just of WordPress, but of web marketing technologies in general in this course. And this course is targeted for anyone, really, anyone from a beginner to more advanced level. Anyone who's, either a self-employed person or a business owner who, wants to make their own websites. Either they don't have a lot of money, or else they just simply want control. I mean, lots of people take our courses because they just want control of their sites. They're tired of dealing with web designers. All the way up to more advanced people like social media professionals, or people who are WordPress webmasters who really want to learn. Maybe they know about HTML web design, but they want to learn WordPress. So a lot of these people also take our courses.
So in addition to the knowledge and the resources, you guys are there also as a support vehicle. I mean, people are going off and building their site. There's a community, presumably, that's associated with your work. So this is a great place to go for people that want to get started and do this on their own. And really, for the do-it-yourselfers, this is one of the best options to do this with a professional look and feel and easy-to-use platform.
Right. Well, let me just say, for the do-it-yourselves, we do have an entry solution called the WordPress Learning Management System. It's pretty well the most comprehensive WordPress and web technology help guide on the web right now. But we also, my experience is that almost everyone, when they're starting out, they need some level of hand-holding. Partly, and it's just kind of more economical to pick up the phone or go to a coaching group and ask me, and I'll solve the question for you in 5 minutes. That otherwise you'd be banging your head against the wall for 10 hours. Seriously.
Right.
So the course is really, it gives the support. It gives, a whole bunch of other, we pretty well give you everything you need to make a professional site, including professional theme downloads, stock photo downloads, and the support, which is very valuable.
That sounds great. Mm-hmm. So, and we're going to be putting some special offers together for people at cheaprevolution.com/WordPress. They can go there and check it out. So, anything else, any last thoughts, Mark, that you'd want to share with the audience? Things to think about, pitfalls?
Well, let's just spend 5 minutes. I know that you serve a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners, or people are looking to either create a new business or expand their business online. So you want to spend like five minutes talking about that?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So I get a lot of people who want to start internet businesses, and the first thing that I tell them is that it's a lot easier to build up an existing business than it is to start a internet business from scratch. Which of course it's kind of intuitively obvious, but if you have a business that's already making money and that you're providing a service that's value and you have customers, creating a web presence and starting to and expand your reach and finding clients through the web is actually surprisingly easy. We teach you how to do this in our course, both to make a nice website. Well, you need a website. You know that. But it's very easy to tie your website into to start to get search engine traffic, and to tie it into social media, and to have autoresponder system on your site. And just a little time investment could really translate into, some substantial increase in your traffic and your inquiries and, or however you measured your conversion. And then, and then there's hardcore people like me who launch into the wild west of, internet startups and try and develop a business. And that, that's difficult, but that is, sort of the ultimate challenge is to create a sustaining internet business that gives you all the advantage of the internet lifestyle, work at home, set your own hours, passive income, location independence, and all of that. And we serve those people too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I've come across, everything from artists to painters to, people that run bakery businesses. I mean, really, it's any kind of, to your point, any kind of business that is out there today. If you want, even if you're local, having that online presence and being able to then have a portal, a place where you can drive social traffic, you can start building a whole range of marketing campaigns. And it's not just for national or international businesses these days. There's a way to localize your web presence. So I think that's good advice for anyone. And the other thing is, by using WordPress and some of these professionally built themes, people are going to have a much better appearance to their customer base or their prospect base. So
people are not going to be able, unless they're a professional, they're not going to be able to tell the difference between a good quality commercial theme and a custom design site. I'm telling you, sure. Skip. So for the price, what's it, $300, $300, plus the value of your time, it's kind of a no-brainer, really.
Right. Well, not only that, but I mean, I see plenty of established businesses, $10, $20 million, $30 million businesses that are running on WordPress. So, it's not just for entrepreneurs and small businesses.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
No, it sounds like a great way to amplify, and I think it's good advice too, because I often talk to entrepreneurs about this idea of bootstrapping your business. So, rather than starting from scratch, greenfield, I'm going to go out and raise venture capital or something like that. Hey, why don't you start in an area or discipline that you already know, where you already have some traction, do some consulting work, provide some kind of service, maybe package up some offerings that you have that you can sell as information, or build some subscribers to your services, do some online webinars. All of these things can be supported through a WordPress presence.
Well, yes, of course, bootstrap business is definitely ideal, and I think you're doing quite well with Cheap Revolution and with your consulting work too, Skip. I believe you're pretty well bootstrapped, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We have a lot of fun. We have a fun team over here at CheapRevolution.com, and we enjoy the opportunity to really serve, the entrepreneur and small business community. As you know, I have some other businesses that I run, but I really have a passion in my heart for the entrepreneurs. So I appreciate you taking some time to walk us through this today, Mark. I think this is a perfect offering for small businesses and entrepreneurs who want to really take their web presence to the next level.
Yeah, let me just add one more thing. I'm sure we're getting close to time, but Brendan Burchard has a book that is pretty well a must-read for anyone who wants to do business on the web these days, and particularly for people who have specialized knowledge that they want to share and monetize, and which I would say pretty well most of us do, Skip. Most of us have some specialized information or knowledge that we've got through work experience or life experience that is valuable to somebody in the world. And, Skip presents this case very compellingly. The book is called The Millionaire Messenger. It's a quick read. It's like, $10 on Amazon. And it sort of presents his model, which is actually the model that I, used to develop a, very successful internet business in the space of, in under 2 years. And one of the things he says is that what makes this model, workable is called the experts model. Basically, it's where you position yourself as an expert in your field. All right. And what makes this model workable is the availability of very cheap and effective web platforms, of which WordPress is a perfect example, probably the prime example. And it's sort of a four-step process of which sort of building up your internet presence and internet marketing is a key part of that, and really that's what we teach people in our courses is how to create an internet presence and tie it into to marketing channels and monetization.
So it's the Millionaire Messenger.
The Millionaire Messenger by Brendan Burchard. Yeah.
Okay, great. No, I like that, and I think it's a good point because everybody has invested their time and energy into learning a particular discipline, a particular skill set, and it's really how some people are stuck with how to unlock that and provide that with scale to the audience, right? They feel like, well, I can't really compete with these big companies and whatnot. But the truth is you can compete because, there's a whole freelance economy that has emerged. It's globally based, and the technology has really enabled that in a lot of ways. But you need to have smart approaches and smart tactics for how to employ those so that you can start to get some traction. I know you've been working on this business for a couple of years. We've been talking about it, and it's so rewarding to see the success you're now having with WordPress Academy because, it's a labor of love, but it's something that you're doing to really help other people. And when people start to take that approach and share their expertise that way, it can be a very powerful combination. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up and brought that to our attention.
And my advice to people is you can totally compete. Simply because you have a lower overhead.
Yeah, that's right.
So.
All right. Terrific.
All right.
Well, Mark, this is great. I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day to walk us through this.
Okay, my pleasure.
And again, we'll invite people to go to cheaprevolution.com/WordPress. Check out the special offers that we have there for the Cheap Revolution community. And here's to your continued success.
All right. Thank you, Skip.